Andrew, thank you for being with us. This is quite something. This is a story that started about Eric Adams, maybe a story a lot of Americans weren't really covering. Guy who got himself into a whole lot of hot water and is facing charges, into a showdown about justice and fairness and politics. I have to say, this has blown up in the last 48 hours in a way that I didn't expect.
Well, absolutely. This is something that doesn't happen at the Department of Justice in any normal times. You just do not see the resignation of career person after career person after career person. Everyone has analogized this, I think, correctly to the Saturday Night Massacre. But one thing I'd like to focus on is that last piece that you read, which was the former heads of the Southern District of New York talking about the department's intent to do this investigation of Danielle Sassoon and other people. This is what I think is going to happen, or at least this is what I'm keeping my eye out for. The judge who has this case and now has the motion to dismiss has the power to hear from the parties. And there is a stark contrast between what Danielle Sassoon says happened and what Emile Beauvais happens. And that judge has the ability to call everyone in. He can even put them under oath. It is a crime to lie to a federal judge, as it should be. And he can, if he makes a determination that Emile Beauvais has put forth fictitious and misleading reasons for what he is doing, and Danielle Sassoon is right, he would both be protecting her rightly from any investigation and getting to the bottom of what appears to be really a quid pro quo deal here. And so the judge has enormous power here to do the right thing and to get to the bottom and accord everyone their due process rights in doing that, because everyone has the ability, to be heard and to cross-examine before the judge makes a decision.
Explain to me, at any point, prosecutors can choose not to prosecute something. The Department of Justice can decide not to do something. But there's some question about why this all came about. Emile Beauvais' letter to Danielle Sassoon and team suggests that these charges were political in nature and they interfered in the fact that Eric Adams was running for election again and the things that he needed to do. Tom Homan suggests this is a deal to get an agreement, as he calls it, to get Eric Adams to do the administration's bidding as it relates to immigration. Talk to me about the legality of any of that. Under which circumstances would it have been fine for the Department of Justice to say we're not prosecuting anything this anymore, versus what is not good about this?
Sure. So, you could have a case where a new administration comes in and says, you know what, we looked at the law you're relying on and we disagree in your interpretation of the law. Second, a new administration or any new prosecutors could look at a case and say, you know what, we re-examine the facts here, and we don't think you factually can meet all of the elements of the crime. We don't think you can prove it. So that would be basing your decision on your assessment of the law and your assessment of the facts. We know that is not what happened here, because Emile Beauvais, in his letter to Danielle Sassoon and directing that this case be dismissed, said, I am not in any way disagreeing with your assessment of the law and the facts. By the way, that is the only thing that you should be looking at, and whether this case should be brought and should be done. And of course, by the way, when you're indicting the mayor of the city of New York, you're going to be really careful about that. Instead, you have, I think, in my opinion, a lot of bogus reasons, and also reasons that have changed over time, given by Emile Beauvais as to why he thinks this case should be dismissed. And it flies in the face of Danielle Sassoon's point, which is that this really is, as she says, tantamount to a quid pro quo. And that's the kind of thing that a judge can say, you know what, there's a conflict. I have two sides saying different things, and that's what I'm here for. You want to dispute what she's saying? Let's all come on in. You can swear under oath what happened. And by the way, bring those notes that you were so concerned that her people were taking, that you didn't want anyone to see, apparently. Why don't you keep those and give them to me so I can see what people wrote down contemporaneously? So I think that's the thing I think people should keep an eye out for, because here you have a part of the government that is the judiciary that is separate from the White House, that has an ability to be a real check on the kind of abuse of power that we are seeing going on at the Department of Justice.
Andrew, thank you for your analysis tonight. It's really important. Andrew Weissmann, former FBI General Counsel.